The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 5th day of July, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Halls, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Senja Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Hey, Senja, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. I can't complain.
We're both in new places. Look at this.
We switched places for sure.
Yeah.
How's the place you're at?
It's good. It's good. So I'm in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I've been to Philly, I was probably about, God, I can't even remember. I remember my mom bringing me when I was very young.
Oh.
And then I went when I used to, probably about 10 years ago, I remember like coming for something quickly and then leaving. So I don't know much about Philly, and my son Maddox and I are figuring it out.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
so Maddox is doing some stuff. He likes Philly.
Maddox is in an Arsenal football camp here in Philadelphia, and he's doing well. First day, he got Player of the Day, and here I am, all excited, holding back tears, like.
Congratulations! Yeah. They have Manchester United camps as well, right?
Oh, Jamal, I'll send you the bill.
Oh, okay. Apologies. I mean, come on, United. Can't price yourself out of great players. Come on now. Well, I'm glad you're up there. How's the air quality up there? Like, I've seen on the news that things are bad, right?
Before I came, I saw that air quality was supposed to be really, really bad. I haven't really been affected. Mind you, yesterday I felt like my allergies were driving me crazy towards the end of the day. But I've woken up today feeling a little like, so we'll see. It doesn't seem as I expected it to be worse.
Okay. She expected it to be worse, folks, but she's breathing. She's breathing.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning to you, Karen Simmons. She says, good morning, TDH, Jamel, and Sandra. Happy hump day. Yes, we are halfway through the week. And greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome Danielle Riviere. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce. So looking forward to that conversation. The daily play is music today.
I love music.
We do remember when, we didn't do Tuesday. I don't think Central likes the history ones, I think we should do two. Yeah, maybe we should do two.
What?
Okay, we'll just do music. Folks.
How was your 4th of July before we talked about where I am?
I always try to avoid talking about me.
No, we're not avoiding talking about you today.
Oh. I didn't do nothing. I worked yesterday. I worked. I didn't.
Your workspace looked beautiful yesterday, Jamal.
Yeah, I was at the airport yesterday doing some things. And what's weird is I said, my office for the morning, and quite a few people hit me up thinking like I was traveling. I'm like, no, I said my workplace for the morning. I didn't say I was traveling.
Maybe you could have been working from the airport, like you were about to take off, had your computer, and you're doing something.
That makes sense, I guess, but no, that it didn't happen like that. But I worked. I didn't get to see a firework or any of that stuff. Well, you know what? It was my first Independence, July 4th, whatever you want to call it, as an American citizen. So I should have probably celebrated with a red, white, and blue cupcake at least, right?
You should have put on your red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I'll do that when Maya does it. No, we don't actually. No. Anyway, folks, we have a good show today. Like I said, we've got the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce, Danielle Riviere. And then we have the Daily Play a bit later. But if you didn't join me yesterday, I was in People's Pharmacy waiting for you guys, to take advantage of the shopping day, right? So I'm going to check out Medical House today if you want to rock and roll with me, right? So check us out. And don't forget, we'll be announcing over the next couple of days the restaurant crawl date and time and cost. So you don't want to miss that. And then we have some really big news, You don't want to miss this one. So just stay tuned to the show. But we're doing something that's never been done for Cot Match. Does that excite you at all?
I got nervous when you said really big news. I'm like, what? Wait, do I know about this? But yes, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, we're doing something that's never been done for Cot Match, folks. So you don't want to miss this. You want to tune in. And greetings, Sean DeShields. He says, greetings from Florence, Italy. We love when our audience travels and takes us with them.
Those are the type of vacations I want, Sean.
Yeah. Is like, are you eating a lot of that pizza that they have there? Everybody talks about, Italy and the best real pizza in the world. If you aren't, please do enjoy, and just ask them, do they have any vegan cheese on their Italian pizzas yet? All right. Yeah, I hope so. All right, folks, let's get into today's conversation. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. And as Sancha mentioned, yesterday was July 4th, the United States Independence Day. And we put a poll on our Instagram stories. And the poll was, and let us know, audience, if you were not allowed to or didn't participate in the poll, not allowed, but if you didn't participate in the poll, just let us know here. But the poll was, here we go. The question was, would you support Bermuda becoming independent? Now, we've had this conversation before. Sometimes minds change. I wonder if Sancha's mind's changed. I wonder if Maya's mind's changed. But of the respondents, 63% said no, they would not support Bermuda becoming independent. Only 11% said yes, and we have 26% who said they're unsure. All right, so the question of the morning is, what concerns you most about an independent Bermuda? But before you get to answering the question, just let us know, do you support an independent Bermuda? Yes or no? Do you support Bermuda becoming independent of its mother country, England, United Kingdom, Great Britain, however you choose to define it? Sandra, you're still on which side?
I am on the side of at some point we need to grow up and get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're big now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like not right now.
Mm.
I'm terrified under the government that we are under at the moment, that we are competent enough to take that on. I am afraid for our economy. Simple things we can't get right. I mean, we're just, how many years have we been trying to just get a hotel on board so that we can, secure some stability within our economy? I'm not comfortable with it happening right now. Mm-hmm. And then I look at
well, no, hold on. Don't answer today's question. That was the yes or no, because I want to just go to the code. Do you agree with it? Because, okay, so we asked, do you agree with Bermuda becoming an independent country? And Sam Cat Play says no. Sean DeShield says yes. Michelle White agrees with you directly. Like right now, it's a no. Karen Simmons says yes. All right. I'm going to say I'm always for independence.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a yes for me. It's a hell yes for me. It's a definite yes for me. I don't fear the unknown. As an entrepreneur, you've got to take risk. I'm not afraid to approach the government. No, many of you are, which is why, no disrespect, you'd say not right now, as long as these incompetent jabronis are in power. I have no problem leading a fight against the government, but we cannot live in fear. When you live in a space where you're afraid to leave your house to go to the grocery store, what's the point in living? Dr. King did say, I mean, I don't want to quote him wrong, but if you're not willing to die for something, you know the rest. And I know nobody wants to die, but you cannot live in fear. And I refuse to let the incompetent people who lead our government from mostly elected positions, which are popularity contests, keep us enslaved. And so when I see the people of Bahamas and Bermudians celebrating Bahamian independence and United States, it's just strange to me. It's weird. So the question of the morning, folks, what concerns you most about an independent Bermuda? What concerns you most about it? I'm actually fascinated by let me say this, because I don't disagree with Sancha. I agree with Sancha, and I agree with those who have concerns about the current government. What I'm saying is, if you have concerns about something, you got to fight. We don't sit back and just allow them to do them. We've got to fight back.
I get that, but we're not in that space. Like, let's be realistic.
No, we're not.
At the end of the day, we can say, we can't let those people hold us back. But becoming independent, those are the powers. Those are the people that will be empowered to kind of lead our future. I do believe, which I've said before, there's a huge sector of Black Bermudians and I will say brainwashed, that have been brainwashed to believe that you have to vote for a party because you are Black and you've been raised Black and this, that, and the other, and that's the best thing for you. Mm-hmm. That is not true. Mm-hmm. In the space that we're in right now, we need to start being smart. Mm-hmm. And we cannot continue to believe that every single thing that's being done, or if anyone's pushing back, it's because they don't like to see the Black man in power. Mm-hmm. That right, it's so overused, mm-hmm. and it's actually suppressing us.
I hear you. I think anyone who still looks at this David Burt led administration as a Black government and using race, I think you're lost. This government has done nothing to advance Black. I'm talking about the David Burt administration has done nothing for the advancement of Black people.
And in independence, I feel like it'll be worse. We put these people in a space whereas they're not being held accountable for anything. You mm-hmm. can make any decisions that you feel that are correct. And we're mm-hmm. already in a space whereas there is no transparency.
So you basically feel, and I think everyone pretty much agrees, you basically feel that your greatest concern is the current government.
Yes. I feel as if we should be working into a space whereas independence is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we cannot be the kid that lives in the house forever, right? Mm-hmm. At some point, we have to go out on our own. Mm-hmm. But I'm not comfortable under this government. Okay. I'm really not.
Let's see what the audience has to say. What concerns you most about an independent Bermuda? So Sam Cat Place says, we can't even get it together being a dependent territory. Why the hell would we want those same people to lead us during independence? Hell to the no. Pamela Wade says, I agree with Sancha. We are not ready yet. So, okay, to that point, when will we ever be ready? I guess my question is, if not now, then when? Because if I'm not mistaken, and no disrespect to other premiers, the only premier in my lifetime that has had the courage to actually try to lead us toward independence is Sir John Swan. Despite, since then, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bermuda Progressive Labour Party leaders. Sir John Swan is the only one in my lifetime, and I was born in the 80s, who's actually tried to lead us there. So now the question begs, and you change it, is is it something that the current government would actually want? And I say no. I say no. Why? Because look, they will use the struggle to get what they get in position so that they can put their hands in the cookie jar. They don't seem to want independence. They'll talk about it to get their supporters going, but do they really want it? Folks, I guess that's the question. What concerns you most? But with these concerns, when we have concerns, we try to come up with solutions for them, no? So what's the solution to get to that spot? You know, if we're not ready yet, if we're not ready now, if we weren't ready in, what was it, 95 or 94 or 93 when Sir John did it? Like, if we weren't ready then, when will Bermuda be ready? Bahamas just celebrated 50 years, 1973, right? When will Bermuda be ready?
You know what? We're in such a gray space because all of our great talent wants nothing to do with politics.
Mm-hmm.
Our politics is in such a it's not in a good space, right? So anyone that has any sort of amazing talent that we could utilize, and I mean, look at Curtis Dickinson, what we did to him and what the party did to him. That was amazing talent. So if we are pushing amazing talent out of the door like that and we're not utilizing it, then no, I'm not comfortable. You know, when we look at our economy, I would be comfortable like going independent under a Curtis Dickinson and his knowledge. When we look at John Swan, he had like a global understanding and perspective. It and I guess that's why he felt comfortable pushing us to independence because it was his understanding and foundation was worldly, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're so busy right now looking within our four walls
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just not comfortable. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you look at the people that are in leadership, and we've said it before, no disrespect to anybody, but none of them have really been true successful entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I get concerned with the money that they're given and how they budget it.
Mm-hmm.
They are always quick for some sort of give back. And it's like, well, this give back that you're giving, how are we affording this?
Mm-hmm.
And those are not practices that I'm comfortable with under an independent government.
Fair enough. And here's the thing. I think, watch where I go with this audience. I actually think the David Burt administration, the PLP government today, fears independence more than the Bermudian people.
I would agree.
Think about why I'm saying that. I will say it again. I actually believe the PLP government under David Burt fears independence more than the people of Bermuda. That should tell you a lot.
Now, Jamal, I don't need them calling our bluff.
I see your point, Sister Sandra. I see your point. Because they're like that. Ego makes people do crazy things, especially when they have political power. Karen Simmons says, we will never be ready, but it is necessary. I don't think the present government is ready because it doesn't benefit them. Bingo. It doesn't benefit them. Look, I say this with the most respect in the world. These are people that Sancha just explained. They haven't been successful entrepreneurs. They haven't been successful in their careers. Politics is their career. That's their big paycheck, right? So they don't want to mess up what they have. They're sitting pretty now. You saw it between 2012 and 2018. Many of them were walking around and there's Earl Bermuda windbreakers and washed out jeans. I'm not being rude, it's real. We were having conversations about it. It's not disrespect, it's the truth. Right now, they can work, well, I mean, Dave Burt still can't dress, but that's neither here or there. But I mean, you got them wearing the expensive suits and, green ties. Folks, they don't want to take that risk. Rosalind Famous says, a move from independence will come from the mindset of the people, not from a government, any government. No, I disagree. I'll tell you why I disagree. Independence is going to come when UK says we have no use for you.
That's true too.
It's
But
going to be put on you.
with what Rosalind is saying, is pretty much, if you go back, it's pretty much aligning with what you said earlier,
Mhm.
is that if the people want it and fight for it and
Mhm.
move towards it, then the government will have no choice but to kind of veer in that direction. But
Mhm.
because we are sitting back and we're not fighting for it, and we're not like shouting like this is what we want,
Mhm.
so I feel like you're saying the same thing in two different ways.
No, I agree with what you're saying, that the mindset of the people must change for independence. But again, I said this before. A current PLP minister was a minister 15 years ago, and he said the same thing to me. He said, these people don't want it, but when the UK says, here you go, what then, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna come.
It's going to come. So my thing is just prepare for it. And you don't want to be caught off guard. Independence may come when you're not ready.
Yeah.
Let's go through these last few comments and then bring Maya in. Renee Simmons says, I think the next newcomers like Orion, Parent Chief, Mackenzie Tuckett, Aaron Hill will be most likely qualified to lead this country to independence, not now with this current crew. Many thought that about David Burt, though. We always think young people come and they're going to change things. Folks, politics is a hell of a drug. And this is no disrespect to these young people. But a lot of nice people, smart people get involved, and then they become different people. I appreciate that, and I hope you're right. Michelle White says, yes, Karen, and right now they are a modified UBP and have stepped away from their stand when they were the opposition. I'm just saying. Elephant not 999 says, becoming independent will change nothing. The countries that are independent are no better off. For most are worse off. It won't change the root problem. Independence won't change the state of people. When people say that independent countries are no better off, what are you talking about? Because there are actually racist people who support the transatlantic slave movement who say black people are no better off. They weren't out shooting each other on July 4th. They weren't gangs. They weren't this. Like, what do you mean? Talk to me. What do you mean by that? What does better off? Because better off may mean something very different to you and me. But if you can justify, slavery, if you can justify remaining in a dependent nation and people, right? Because you feel we're not better off and it's not addressing the root, then explain how. I'm very interested in that. Very, very interested in that. Chances are it'll be a long conversation. Michelle White says, yes, have a plan. Absolutely. Well, let's bring Maya in. I'm not sure if she has an opinion on this. I'm sure she's probably done polls on Media Maya asking young people. I just know I have a lot of hope, like Renee Simmons and young people, like the Ryan Parent Chiefs, Robinson Parent Chiefs, the Mackenzie Cole Tuckets, and the Bermuda Youth Connect crew as well, who I believe support an independent Bermuda. So it'll be interesting, having young people like that around. So Elephant 999 says, as the same issues as in still linger addiction, poverty, unemployment, and the like. A lot of that's not dependent on government. That's dependent on the will of the people. Hope that kind of makes sense. The government that you get is not, at least under a so-called democracy, because I don't think we have a full-out democracy. It really comes down to the will of the people. I say this all the time, but it's like a relationship, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. They only do what you allow. You can leave at any time, right? Or hopefully, and if not, you get the authorities involved. A government is literally only going to do what its people allow, right? Chikarena says Bermuda is in a geographically strategic position. Are we prepared to defend it against hostile interests? Bermuda doesn't have to defend itself against hostile interests. The United States don't let anything happen to anyone close to the mainland. Bermuda could go independent and not have a military. The United States would not let anything happen to Bermuda. Costa Rica doesn't have a military. Think about how Costa Rica compared to the other Central and South American countries. So no, nothing would change for Bermuda in that respect. Nothing. Yeah, you try attacking Bermuda, see what these boys in the U.S. always looking for a fight. Don't do that. No. Let's get to mine.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I know you've had a lot of people talk about this in your space, the independent Bermuda. Yes, no, maybe so. What do you have any I guess information from that side, like what younger people are thinking?
Sure. I mean, I haven't asked this question in a while. I would probably say maybe it's been a year since I asked about whether or not people would like Bermuda to be an independent country. And what I remember, the majority of responses was that, again, people are unsure that we're ready to do that, or that under the current government, it's not really something that they're looking forward to do. And a lot of people also are just still unsure, and I'm sure a lot of people are today, just like, what does that look like? What does that mean? That's like the biggest question that hangs over our heads, because we haven't had it and we can't really compare ourselves to the other nations. Like, we are different in terms of what will really be like the standout point of the biggest change that will like happen to our country. So I think that's like the main question. Everyone just wants to know, like, if it happens, when it happens, what does it look like? And I remember actually going to a couple of panels about it before, which was questioning, like, again, what is going to happen if Bermuda does become independent, and the purpose of figuring out, like, what does it look like? So I have gone to a couple of those panels, and it still was some questions left in the air even afterwards, because you can't really say unless you've done it, unless you've been there, unless you've had those experiences.
Yeah. And I get you. I want to just share this. Sean DeShields says, as previously stated, independence won't happen in Bermuda if it doesn't benefit those currently in power. And that goes back to my comment I said earlier, is I think they fear, those in political power actually fear independence more than the Bermudian people. Because think about it. We had Sir John on recently. Sir John was the last person to really try to lead us there. What's the difference between Sir John and most not all, but most of the recent premiers, mainly the PLP ones? It's the biggest difference. Say it, Sandra. You always say it.
I thought you were asking Maya. We know, I know. I mean, he's a businessman.
Out there, money. He knows what he's doing to get it.
Said, he gets it. He's global. He totally understands this, and he's successful.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's, and Maya, I want you to get you to your news. I know you don't. This is uncomfortable what I'm about to say, but I think Bermudians, to allow a person to lead you to be in a position of premier who absolutely has nothing, no activism in their background, no business in their background, nothing but politics because they couldn't find a job, that's dangerous. Maya, let's get to the news break before I start going here.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out this morning's news is kind of upsetting story right now, but an 18-year-old male was robbed at knife point for his motorcycle on South Road at the junction of Collectors Hill and Smiths around 11 p.m. on Sunday, July 2nd. The 18-year-old male told police he was riding west along South Road Smiths when three motorcycles traveling in the same direction pulled up to him as he approached St. Mark's Church. The man kept riding west along South Road when, upon approaching the traffic lights at the junction of South Road and Collectors Hill, one of the cycles overtook him and blocked his path, causing him to stop. A pillion rider on one of the cycles that then brandished a knife and demanded that he hand over his motorcycle. Acting on information provided, officers attended the area, and while on patrol, they observed the suspects riding a separate stolen motorcycle. The suspects, a 16-year-old male and a 17-year-old male, led officers on an extensive chase and were later intercepted. They were each found to be in possession of a knife. They were arrested and taken to the Hamilton Police Station. Detectives from the Criminal Investigative Unit have commenced an investigation to the robbery report, and anyone with information on this matter is asked to contact Detective Constable Janaea Smith at 717-2290.
That's crazy.
You're on mute, Sandra.
Sorry, this cough, I'm avoiding coughing. It's scary. It is scary, and at this point, I refuse to have a bike because the roads are crazy. So now we're adding another layer on top of the potholes, and accidents, and now you can get robbed.
What time of day did that happen?
That was at 7 p.m. So it was at nighttime, but that's a pretty busy junction there in Smith's Collectors Hill normally. So,
But I think what 16 and 17-year-olds?
16, 17-year-olds. So on the bike of an 18-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something to be concerned of for sure. In other news, 188 tickets were issued for speeding in June of 2023, according to the Bermuda Police Service's Operation Vega report. I'm going to throw up some more stats here that everyone can read so you can take note. But the report also added that from the 1st of January until the 30th of June 2023, 140 motorcyclists were arrested for impaired driving. If you can already see, that is in comparison to the 6 months prior in 2022 when we had 95. So that's a big jump from 95 for impaired driving in 2022 to 140 in 2023. Remember, Operation Vega has been going on for a couple of years, maybe 4 or 5 at this point. So, it wasn't no difference in like trying to, stop people for this bad behavior. So the count for each month where motorists were arrested for impaired driving. In January, it was 14 people arrested. In February, 27. In March, 25. In April, 21. May, 30. And June, 23. So May was the highest month where people were arrested for impaired driving. And then you see all the statistics following underneath for the breakdown of offenses as well for different charges. You see speeding being 188, and that in bracket is showing what it was in the previous year. So it was 110, and now we're at 188 for speeding. So we're not doing any better. We talk about it on this show consistently all the time, and these stats just keep showing us that we are not improving in our driving habits, in our drinking habits as well, while we continue to drive. We're not doing a good job, Bermuda.
I think we still have that mentality of, and I see it all the time when I talk to people, that it wouldn't happen to me until it happens to you. And we've become so complacent with it. And we need to be mindful that, first of all, drinking and driving, it can happen to you. You can lose your life, or you can take someone else's life. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. I took my camera out and used it while riding to a meeting on Monday. And outside of East Broadway, where some person just ran around me to be in front of me the rest of the way, it was really, I didn't capture much because there was not as much traffic on the road at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That said, as I said to you on Saturday night, I'm pretty sure I annoyed everyone from South Shore, Southampton, right down to Collectors Hill, Smiths. And I'm fine with that, right? I'm okay with that. Folks, as I said to a gentleman yesterday, I went into a black-owned store in town and bought a shirt. They said, "You're looking for something?" I said, "No, I'm just coming to, be a man of my word and support a black business," right? What you got? And just purchase something, right? A shirt. I don't want to be on this show saying one thing and doing another. And my hope is that when we live like this, when Maya speaks like this, when Sandra's saying what she says, is that we're not all just, yes, I agree, and then going out and doing the opposite. It doesn't work like that. It can't work like that if we're really trying to be a part of the solutions in our community. Trust me, I was late for my sister's birthday brunch Sunday, but we didn't speed to get there. No, we'll get there. And guess what? Got there and still weren't seated for another 15 minutes. Better late than not making it at all. I'm just saying, we got to do better. We got to. Go ahead, Maya, sorry.
Definitely. No, in some happier, lighter news, though, for the Mirror's 7th annual Student Art and Digital Competition at MassWorks has begun, and students from all over the island were encouraged to submit works of art with the theme, My Happy Place. There are many entries, and the voting for the People's Choice Award is now open. MassWorks invites the public to come and view the exhibition displayed in the Rick Ferries Gallery and cast their vote for their favorite work of art.
Nice. Good stuff. Love that.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned it earlier, Sandra, but here's some updates on the potholes. If you didn't know, since May, the pothole at gov.bm email account has received over 100 emails from the public with complaints about potholes. The Ministry of Public Works provided their latest update on the pothole repairs initiatives. The Minister of Public Works, David Burt, says we appreciate the public's patience and understanding as we continue our work to address the pothole issue caused by recent heavy rainfall. He says, contrary to speculations, Minister Burt would like to clarify that the repair efforts have not been hammered by staff vacancies within the department. Instead, the main obstacle has been the continued heavy rainfall. Mr. Burt said it is worth noting that some of the re-emerging potholes are results of older repairs from 2 or 3 years ago. These old repairs are more susceptible to damage from the heavy rains we have experienced recently. We are prioritizing these areas to ensure the longevity of restoration in the future. The ministry is currently reassessing the state of all the roads in Bermuda. This review will identify the state of the roads, private and public, the cost of repairs and paving, and outline how to increase the pace of road paving plans for the years to come.
I'm not saying nothing. Next story. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. No. Too easy.
Look, I guess I'll leave. Like, I leaned in for a minute. I guess I'll leave it alone too. Go ahead, Maya.
Well, I know we weren't on the air yesterday, so a little bit of news to catch you up. But the St. George's community has expressed a strong desire for consistent and enhanced ferry services, particularly during the summer season. And the Honorable Wayne Ferret, Minister of Transportation, had a press conference regarding the enhanced ferry services to St. George's.
To announce the commencement of enhanced ferry service to St. George's. Residents and visitors are able to enjoy a convenient ferry ride to St. George's every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Departing from Hamilton with a stop in Dockyard, the 3-day ferry service, which started on June 5th, will continue through August 31st. In addition, we have added 2 Saturdays dates to the accommodation the largest cruise ships that are scheduled to arrive on Saturday, July 15th, the Liberty of the Seas and Carnival Veneza, carrying approximately 9,500 cruise passengers.
Oh, okay. Good for St. George's. I mean, we've had those conversations on this show that they need love, so I'm good on them.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that it's consistent, and yeah.
I look forward to seeing everyone's responses of going on catching the ferry to St. George. Should be a fun experience. But in your sports-related news, the Department of Youth, Sport and Recreation has released the latest edition of its Competitive Edge newsletter, which includes stats from recent sporting events where the department played like a key role inside. So it has stats on the Bermuda Special Olympics, Bermuda Triathlon Association, Sailor Association, Bermuda Karate Federation, and many other sports that are just all packed down into what's been going on and around.
Okay, good stuff. And did Dage run today or yesterday at the CAC? Is it the CAC? I thought
I believe the athletic, the track and field may have begun at the CAC games. I can check on that and I'll write it in the comments so everyone can see.
Yeah. No, I thought I saw it somewhere. I don't know. I could be wrong, folks. I'm sorry.
You should be competing. I know Janai Panchiv as well is too.
Okay.
And yeah, track and field hadn't started yet, but it may have started today. It was bad weather yesterday though in some of the places.
Man, I should have kept up the track and field. Might have went down in history as the shortest great high jump. I'm joking, folks. I'm joking.
Oh, you said it though.
I'm joking.
You said it.
See how you are. I was trying to see if one of you would go. Anyway, next story. See Maya guess. See how she is.
So sorry. But for the weather for today, that is my apologies, guys. I have to check on the weather. Okay, so the weather today is going to be sunny periods, shortened to sunny breaks, 1 to 2 showers around, and winds are going to be kind of moderate in the area. I've got a high of 83 degrees Fahrenheit today.
It's been wonderful weather since I've been here, so
I can't even look out my window for you today.
I know, I was gonna
give you a little head side.
You might not see anything, that air up there. What you got for days of the year, Sister Central?
Today is National Apple Turnover Day.
Oh.
Deliciously cooked apple filled, wrapped in flaky, delicate puff pastry and drizzled with sweet frosting. Indulge your taste buds in an apple turnover. Can I tell you, apple turnover is like one of my favorite pastries.
You gonna have apple turnover today, Maya?
I'm gonna find something.
I don't even know where to find one here, but maybe I have to go look for like a special.
Do they have them at Scoops?
I'm gonna make sure they make them.
Okay. I'm gonna head down Scoops for one, folks. You don't want to miss that, Maya. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
All right, folks. Don't go anywhere. We've got Danielle Riviere coming up from the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce. I think that was her in the news thing just now that Maya did about the ferry. Unless she has a twin sister. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask her. But Sancha,
Yeah.
I'm seriously going on Scoops look for my apple turnover this afternoon.
And I'm going to make sure they have one for you.
Okay. All right, folks, stick with us. Don't go anywhere. A lot more show to go.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
To the big show, Sancha Durham, myself, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. We're going to make an announcement on Friday. This Friday, we have Dr. the Honorable former Premier Ewart Brown on, but we have a very big announcement as it relates to Cotton Match, some exciting stuff going on. So please make sure that you are tuned in on Friday so you can hear that. And we'll also let you know what's happening with the restaurant crawl. Again, we're doing a restaurant crawl really to help Bermuda's restaurants. We know that they've been through some tough times through the pandemic and really trying to get out, support them. And, you know, we want as much of you to join us as possible as we tour Bermuda from Dockyard to St. George's and visit many of our restaurants. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day, a warm TDH welcome. I believe this is her first time in the show for the new president of the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce, Danielle Riviere. Welcome. I'm sorry, they go crazy. You know, they calm down. Morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm fine, thanks.
Welcome to the Daily Hour.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be able to join you guys this morning.
No problem. But I'm being serious. Was that you in that news clip?
That was me in the news clip, yes.
All right. I was like, I don't know. But hey, good stuff. And I'm glad that, you know, we're doing some things for the folks in St. George's, which I find unique. And we'll talk about that because I've been a member of a couple of Chamber of Commerce's, both when I lived in Boston and in South Florida. So I've got some questions in terms of like membership and the like. But before we get into that, just tell the audience a bit about your background and what it is that you do.
So I actually joined the chamber in February of this year. So we actually have a complete new staff, which is it's interesting and exciting at the same time. But my background has actually historically been in the nonprofit sector. I worked for the Center on Philanthropy for a number of years and then have been a consultant looking specifically at strategy and governance for nonprofit organizations. My background with my family is, of course, entrepreneurship. I was born into a family who focused on business. We've had the Amway business for many years. We had the Walk restaurant and most recently the Bull's Head Car Wash. So this was an interesting space for me to step into in the sense that it wasn't necessarily my business background as much as my community focus and recognizing that, you know, the Chamber of Commerce has a real responsibility to look at the building of business but really at the economics of our country. And so it's been a great opportunity so far to have lots of conversations, and I'm enjoying it.
Nice, nice. And well, congratulations on behalf of everyone on this new position. And exciting times. Just your energy makes me believe that the chamber's going in some great places. But for those who don't know, just tell us a bit about the role, like explain the role of the chamber.
So the chamber is focused on business. So we are looking at how business operates, how we can help improve it. A lot of what we focused on in the past has been around advocacy, as of course within COVID especially, there was a real need to focus on the legislative aspects of what was happening. But the reality is that someone needs to be a voice within our community's various industries around what the impact of legislative decisions will have on those industries, as well as recognizing the responsibilities and roles of business in our community. So the chamber has historically been really focused on building business in the sense of education and information, advocating for business, ensuring that their voice is being heard, and also making sure that there is a space in place where people can come who are looking at how they can advance business in Bermuda.
Yeah, and just a follow up to that real quickly. So I actually joined the Black Chamber of West Palm Beach, and then I've been involved in the chamber Cambridge up in Massachusetts outside Boston. And it probably, I'm not a business like I didn't own businesses in that space at the time, but I was able to network and really meet some people who, when I'm ready in those spaces, it would, it was an amazing opportunity. So when we'll probably talk about it a bit, but when you explain it, I just think it helps people like Sanchez, an entrepreneur, figure out, you know what, this may be something of interest to me. I think people think that the chamber is just for a reinsurance company or a bank or a restaurant, but it's just so much more,
It is. And I think for me, small business is a big space that we have to focus on because we have a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are doing fabulous, but it's how do they advance their businesses and how do they network and how do they create those relationships? Because we know business, Bermuda is about relationships. And so making sure that we do provide those opportunities, but it's definitely, our focus is business, but it's not necessarily that IB space. It really is the small businesses, the smaller businesses who may not have that advocacy space within their walls, right? Because for a lot of the larger businesses, they may be able to speak on their own behalf. And there are a lot of other entities as well that speak for that larger conglomerate area. Those are our members and they are engaged in our conversations, but we recognize that those industries that will most benefit from our support are definitely the smaller businesses.
Indeed. And folks, if you have any questions or comments for Ms. Riviere, please send them through and we'll try to get through as many as possible.
So as the new CEO, congratulations. What are your goals for the organization?
So I am a strategist by heart. So when I came into this organization, it really was about understanding what had the chamber been doing that people were excited about? What did people want us to start doing? What were the areas that they felt we should be engaged in? And then looking around and trying to figure out what needed to be done. And so for me, it's been a real focus on looking at some core areas, one of them being business development. So we recognize that there are gaps, and I can give you kind of a basic one. When I first came in, the prior CEO, Kendra Burgess, sat me down and said, look, this is an area that we have to focus on. When we talk about people working, one of the biggest issues is childcare. And how are we supporting individuals who may have someone who says initially, yep, I can watch your kid while you work, but maybe that's just for a couple of months, a couple of weeks. And all of a sudden that person has a job. They're on quite often, a rotating schedule. And all of a sudden they don't have childcare. And what are we really providing for that as a country? And it really made me think about when I was in university, there was a 24-hour service on campus for people who had kids. And we don't have anything like that. So people are really reliant on family, and that's a gap. That is an opportunity for an entrepreneur to step in. It's an opportunity for our government to step in, but it's a direct line of how do we encourage and support people working in various industries. And so that's what we want to look at. We don't necessarily want to go start the business, but how are we identifying the gaps and starting the conversations and getting people in the room. So looking at the business opportunities that present themselves, of course, again, small business, how can we support small business? And then I think for me, the other key area is kind of looking at the hubs of economic in Bermuda. So we have, the city of Hamilton, which of course is our main business hub, but we also have Dockyard and we have St. George's. Dockyard has Wedco, which is doing phenomenal work in that community, but we recognize that St. George's needs greater support. And so we're in conversations around how the Chamber can better support St. George's business development.
Wonderful.
I love to hear it. So the pandemic hit so many businesses extremely hard, including some that are members of the Chamber.
Yes.
What does the Chamber do to support these businesses?
So, of course, I wasn't here during that time, but I had the unique opportunity prior to taking this role of being the chair of the nonprofit division of the Chamber of Commerce. So I was in a lot of those conversations sitting on the board. And, the real opportunity that the Chamber was able to take was to be that voice and to make sure that as legislative changes were being made, that there was consideration around the impact that it would have on business and making sure that businesses who were struggling had those kind of that government, I think, was conscious of what needed to be done to ensure that businesses were able to stay open. After the pandemic has kind of moved away and the normality of life has come back into play, it's recognizing how do we now start to remove some of those supports that were put in place, but not in a shock value, right? We need to do it in such a way where businesses are able to still sustain what they're doing and move towards being off of some of those compliances. And in the most recent budget, some of those aspects were taken away from the restaurant industry, which was definitely a hard hit industry. And we've been able to support the restaurants in, one, being prepared for it, because you want to make sure that you know what's coming down the pipeline. So working with government to ensure that restaurants had enough time to understand what was coming and that they were prepared for those changes, and then how they move away from those supports. But we recognize that some businesses didn't make it. We recognize that in the city of Hamilton, there's spaces that are empty that we need to look at what opportunities could present themselves, whether we are setting up small vendor markets or are able to use pop-up shops. So we have to look at what the impact of the pandemic was, but we also have to recognize that there is still that recovery that is taking place.
Indeed.
So how do you plan to grow and move forward with the Chamber?
So one of the key aspects, of course, is focus on membership. So we are a membership organization. We have more than 500 members. We want to make sure that we are meeting their needs, making sure that we are answering the calls that they have, as well as looking at what is happening in our economy that we need to focus on. I think Mariko Thomas is the new president of our board, and he and I are very much aligned in the need for information to be shared. And how are we collecting data? How are we collecting information and making sure that the conversations that are happening in our community about the economics are educated conversations and have information? Sometimes the rumors, the innuendos, the things we think we know may not actually be fact. And so how are we at the Chamber making sure that information is being shared, that information is readily available, that we are changing the conversations happening on the corners, at dinner tables, in business rooms, and making sure that the information that's needed is available.
So how does a business or entity become a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
So our membership is based on the number of employees that you have. And if you log onto our website, which is Bermuda Chamber of Commerce, you can go to our membership page and sign on right on our website. It's a relatively easy process. The cost of your membership varies based on that number of employees. And of course, we're constantly trying to work with smaller businesses who are engaging. Of course, we have Harbor Nights, which is a great event, and all of those vendors actually receive a special rate for membership for the year. But yes, absolutely, come to our website and join.
Real quickly, I want to follow up with that, and you may have explained this. What kind of businesses, can it be any kind of business, like service, sales, products?
Yeah, our businesses vary. When I first came in and started to dissect kind of who was a member to really understand, what focus we need to have, it really became quite clear that it is every style of business. So we have IB companies down to the mom and pop shops on the corner. We have every industry represented. So the diversity of our membership means that we have to really look at both overarching, but also very specific issues that face various industries. So we range. Like I said, we have the vendors who are on the street corner selling, as well as some of the larger retail stores and restaurants. And then we also have IBs. So our membership is actually very diverse, which is great, especially when you talk about networking and information sharing, because again, you have the smaller businesses who can, create relationships with the mid-sized businesses. You have the mid-sized businesses who can have conversations with the larger businesses and really start to mentor and work with them around how they can build and create a better industry.
Indeed. We've got some questions from the audience. And folks, we'll try to get through as many questions and comments as possible. Rosalind Fame is asking, how does the Chamber of Commerce work with or complement the BEDC?
I got asked that question actually not too long ago by my daughter, who was trying to figure out exactly what all these entities do. So I think of BEDC as an entity that starts entrepreneurs. They are looking at people who are interested in creating business. The chamber then steps in kind of once the business is formed and helps them to continue to grow and develop and make sure that someone is advocating on their behalf. And then you have the BDA, who's bringing in industry into Bermuda around the larger kind of IB space. And so everybody does have their own niche. We try to really work with BEDC, one around, again, what are the potential business development areas that we're identifying through our membership or identifying through concerns or issues that have come up, so that we can focus our entrepreneurs on specific areas of need, as well as looking at how we can support. So if they have entrepreneurs that are trying to network, that are trying to get into business, looking for spaces, how can we support? For Harbor Nights, they have their summer program that they're running, and those young people will have booths at Harbor Nights, so they can start that process of understanding entrepreneurship in the sales aspect of, being live and direct with clients.
Alrighty. Charles H. Jeffs II, he says, what is the Chamber's position on the proposed Caroline Bay development with a retail area? Was the Chamber consulted?
So the Chamber was not consulted. We do have members who have been engaged in that conversation, varying from real estate entities to the construction industry. So we are aware that is still very much in development. It's still a bit of a conceptual idea. So we continue to have those conversations specifically around some of the main needs, which of course is housing. We continue to have that issue within our country, that we do need housing. And they are talking about creating a retail space there. We'll continue to watch and observe and have those conversations with ministers as it continues to grow. The concept continues to grow.
All righty. Mark Arthur C. Phillips, he's asking, how closely does the Chamber work with the Corporation of Hamilton?
So the Corporation of Hamilton, of course, is a very important partner with us, because they're running the space where a lot of our members exist. So we have a really good relationship. I'm constantly in communication with Dwayne. We meet, we have monthly meetings scheduled. Sometimes we delay them. And then, of course, they're a great supporter of the Harbor Nights event that we hold. So Corporation of Hamilton, of course, has certain mandates that they look to put in place. And so sometimes the impact of those mandates on our members it's very important for us to always have open communication, being able to represent the interest of our members, but also recognizing that there's lots of work that has to happen in Hamilton to ensure that it is both good for retailers, good for buyers, good for general people who are walking along the street, and what needs to happen in the city of Hamilton. So we have an ongoing communication with them around how we can support, and quite specifically the impact on our members.
All right. One final question from the audience. Renee Simmons says, what is the percentage of IB companies versus other entities as members of the Chamber? Sorry.
I am not quite sure of a percentage amount. I will say that our membership definitely reflects those members who are part of a BIC and a BEAR. So we have a large number of IB, but I couldn't give you a percentage, unfortunately. But I would say that the IB community within our membership is well represented.
All righty, no problem. Danielle Riviere, thank you so much for this conversation. Just let people know how they can stay up to date, follow on social media, and maybe get in contact, phone, email.
Absolutely. Please check out our social media. We are constantly posting when we have different activities coming up. We do lots of workshops, promoting other workshops around business. So please, get on our Facebook page, Instagram. Our website is a great resource as well. All of our events are posted there. So Bermuda Chamber of Commerce.bm. So please come. And of course, if you want to join, feel free to go onto the website. If you have any questions, you can email info at bcc.bm, and as well as call into our office at 295-4021.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this conversation. And please know, if you ever need this platform to get some messaging out or have some conversations, just reach out. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
You are on my list. I'll definitely reach out.
I appreciate you. Have a great one and all the best in the position.
Bye-bye.
All right. Danielle Riviere, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, found it helpful, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. And make sure you share it with your friends and family. I know a lot of people have questions. There are a lot of entities, but they actually all do have very different focuses. So appreciate the information, appreciate her time. And we're going to take one final break, come back with the Daily Play, and we'll wrap it up as well. And your daily inspiration brought to you by ER Fisheries.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and trained chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. Let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
Thanks again to Danielle Riviere from the Chamber of Commerce for joining us this morning. And folks, again, if you appreciated the conversation, found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with your friends and family. It's time. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. People's Pharmacy, Brown & Co., Flying Colors, Hamilton Pharmacy. I may be forgetting some, but go check it out. The Cop Match Edition is in stores. Have some friendly banter with your friends and family. We all know there's no red allowed in July. All right. Oh, sorry. Anyway, Bermuda Trivia. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook. Huh?
As I look over at my suitcase for tomorrow.
Oh my God. I could have just kept my big mouth shut. She weren't thinking it, folks. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sandra, are you ready?
Let's go. It's music, right?
Oh, it's music. Sandra, what song do these lyrics belong to? Help her out, folks. Quote, bittersweet memories. That's all I'm taking with me.
I don't know this one. It's
Oh,
not.
you don't know that?
Oh,
Bittersweet
man.
memories. No, it's not Boys to Men. There you go. They got it.
Oh, you know why? Jesse, Maddox's dad, would be so upset. Me saying this publicly. Whenever I say it, it's like, Sancha, you can't tell people that. I'm not a Whitney Houston fan.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Really?
He gets so upset. He's like, can you stop saying that? And I'm not I probably like one Whitney Houston song.
I would have never thought you're not a Whitney Houston. Oh,
I'm not a Whitney Houston fan.
folks, you learn something new every day.
Went over my head.
Well, how about Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
She was the original. You know what I'm saying, Rosalind? You know, gee. I'm not judging you, Sancha. Well, it was Whitney Houston, folks. I will always love you. I think Dolly Parton was the original person with that song, the original singer and songwriter. But let's wrap up today's show, Sancha. You know, independence, and then obviously learning about the chamber.
Independence, I think it's a general consensus. We, not all, but most have said that, you know, they think that it's necessary, but just not under the current government. We do not have any confidence in our government. So with that being said, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You and I cannot sit here and have these conversations and have people looking at us side-eyed all the time because we're speaking truth and nothing happens. We need to do better.
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce, you know, I am an entrepreneur and I am happy that we have an organization that can be there and we can be a part of. And as you say, the networking aspect of it is so vital.
Yeah.
So vital. And to have someone to be there, to be in those rooms. I always say it's about who's in the rooms. And I've never met Denise personally, but her being on the show today, she seems so competent. She's very knowledgeable. You know, it makes me feel good.
She reminds me of you. I'll say this much as far as independence, folks. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to it. We're gonna feel how we feel, and it's almost a personal decision. You get me? Like, it's a personal decision. I'm not judging anyone who is for or against that. Who am I to judge? I simply believe that Sancha said it best. Like, we have to move out of our parents' house at some point. And if not now, when? You know, I want to go back to this comment because, again, I don't like entertaining anonymity, especially when they say things like this. But Elephant 999 says, I would encourage people to look at journalists who have gone to these independent countries and see the state of them: Haiti, Honduras, Ghana, China, Greece, Nigeria, Venezuela, and then see. If you're ignorant enough to think that those countries' challenges are because of independence, I would probably suggest you do a bit more digging than the journalists and what they're presenting to you. You can go any place in the United States, many places, sorry, in the United States, and find they have a Haiti, Honduras, some of the worst parts of Ghana, China, Greece, Nigeria, and Venezuela as well. And they're not independent. Okay. So in reference to Ms. Danielle Riviere and the chamber, as Sancha said, networking. You know, I'm big on networking, especially through LinkedIn, but I think the chamber offers an opportunity to really put yourself in spaces to advance as a professional, regardless of what you're doing. I love what they do, and my hope is that everyone takes something from the conversations and the opportunities and jumps on board. Sancha, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. Daily inspiration is brought to you by ER Fisheries, and it's Tame Birds Sing of Freedom, Wild Birds Fly, and that's by John Lennon.
I like that one. You a wild bird?
Yeah, I want to be a wild bird.
You want to be a wild bird? Okay. Sancha wants to be a wild bird, folks. All right, folks. Don't forget, we've got a big announcement coming up on Friday's show. Trust me, you want to share. You want to share. Not only do we have very important guests, Dr. the Honorable former Premier Ewart Brown, but we actually have two big announcements: restaurant crawl, but also a cup match announcement. So Make sure you subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Centra Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and great day. I'm going to get my apple turnover. Peace.